Thank you, Carol. It's good to hear that story and to be reminded that God cares about the small details in our lives as well as the big stuff. And if any of you have a story about how God has helped you, which you're happy to record, to share in any of our services, please let us know and we'll do our best to use it if we can. But now we're going to read about a prayer which was given up to God during a much more serious and significant situation. As we heard last week, Jenny helped us to look at the time when God said no to David's plans to build him a temple. But this week we're looking at another occasion when God said no to David. And we're going to read extracts from 2 Samuel chapter 12, verses 7 to 23.
Nathan said to David, "Why have you despised the word of the Lord to do what is evil in his sight? You have struck down Uriah the Hittite with the sword and have taken his wife to be your wife, and have killed him with the sword of the Ammonites. Now, therefore, the sword shall never depart from your house, for you have despised me, and have taken the wife of Uriah the Hittite to be your wife." David said to Nathan, "I have sinned against the Lord." Nathan said to David, "Now the Lord has put away your sin. You shall not die. Nevertheless, because by this deed you have utterly scorned the Lord, the child that is born to you shall die." And then Nathan went to his house.
The Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bore to David, and it became very ill. David therefore pleaded with God for the child. David fasted and went in and lay all night on the ground. The elders of his house stood beside him, urging him to rise from the ground, but he would not, nor did he eat food with them. On the 7th day, the child died. And the servants of David were afraid to tell him that the child was dead, for they said, "While the child was still alive, we spoke to him and he didn't listen to us. How then can we tell him the child is dead? He may do himself some harm." But when David saw that his servants were whispering together, he perceived that the child was dead. And David said to his servants, "Is the child dead?" They said, "He is dead."
Then David rose from the ground and washed and anointed himself and changed his clothes. He went into the house of the Lord and worshipped. He then went to his own house, and when he asked, they set food before him, and he ate. Then his servants said to him, "What is this thing that you've done? You fasted and wept for the child while it was alive. But when the child died, you rose and ate food." He said, "While the child was alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, 'Who knows? The Lord may be gracious to me, and the child may live.' But now he is dead. Why should I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he will not return to me."
Well, we think you'll agree that is not an easy story to understand fully. And we are not going to pretend to understand it fully. But before we consider it, let's remember that in every circumstance, we can find our hope in Christ alone.